Okay, welcome everybody. This is your host, Boston Jimmie. You are watching Taking It to the Nub, Season 1, Episode 26. Half a year we've been doing this. This is amazing. And tonight, we've got really cool panel. We've had one panel in the past. We've got another panel we put together here. This is our consumer panel number 2. We got some great people on this show. There may be some others that are going to join us late. They had some technical difficulties and some other issues, but we're going to get it rolling. And I'm going to just bring them right in, and we're going to let them introduce themselves as soon as everybody's on board. Jeanette, otherwise known as Princess J, introduce yourself, what you do, and what you are doing right now.
Well, as you guys know, my name is Jeanette, also known as Princess J. I am with Cigar Enthusiasts. I am the co-host of Cigar Enthusiasts. And right now, I am currently getting tattooed from my elbow to my wrist.
So no alcohol for you, no cigars for you. Did you drink anything before you get tattooed?
What's that?
Did you drink anything before you started getting the tattoo?
Nope, I'm doing it completely sober.
Oh my God, you are a brave woman.
I'm crazy, that's what I am.
I love it. We're going to get into the crazy in a second. Miguel, absolutely. Introduce yourself.
Hey everybody, Miguel Rodriguez here from the Bakersfield Gentlemen. Sorry Frankie's not here right now, but you have me at least. That's the better half anyway, so it's all good. Yeah, we are a live show. I also love cigars, very much so. Filmmaker, and whatever else you want me to be. And I'm excited to be here.
This is awesome. You're coming live from California, where there is some serious fires.
That there is. I am here in California. The weather actually has been pretty beautiful today, so I'm outside here in the Golden State, but it's more of the on fire state right now, like you said. But we'll have it under control sooner or later.
There we go. All right. And Joey Bianco, introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, I'm Joey Bianco. I'm from Boston, and I'm also a co-host on the Cigar Enthusiasts.
And Joey is the youngest of us all in this room right now, but he is beyond the age of smoking cigars, trust me. So he's got a lot of experience with cigars and whiskey, and we'll probably get into that. Is anybody drinking anything tonight to pair with their cigars?
I was going to start off light and then work my way into something.
Just coffee here.
All right. Well,
I'm starting off with food.
I'm smoking a Micallef Herencia, and I'm pairing that with some Oddberg single malt Islay whiskey. Man, haven't had a Islay in a while, so today I was in the mood to have some nice peaty scotch to go with a nice full-bodied cigar. So I'm ready. What do you think of that pairing, Joe?
Currently, I'm smoking the Nova Platinum Batch Torpedo, and
Nice.
I am pairing it with black English tea mixed with a little bit of milk and sugar.
All right.
What's cool is when you drink any kind of milk substance with this cigar, I find that it adds like a nice vanilla flavor to it, which just kind of combos with it really well. Just because whatever you eat or drink affects the flavor of your cigar. So create the flavors that you like onto your cigar that's already good. You're just enhancing the experience.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Thank you.
So let's keep that thread going for a minute. Favorite pairings. Miguel, what do you, besides coffee, what else do you like to pair with cigars? Libations or just straight up soft drinks?
Oh man, I drink a lot of Diet Coke, so I got to get away from that. And the best cure I think is whiskey. And I'm not really a snob when it comes to whiskey. I love top to bottom. So I like my my Johnny Walker Black a lot. I like that plenty. I think as fancy as I usually go, unless it's a special occasion, is with Jack Daniel's Sinatra. It's a nice, their upper end bottle. It's really wonderful, and it goes with a lot of different cigars, especially that heavier Maduros. You have something with a lot of full flavor to it. Not quite peaty. I think maybe very little on the back end. but it's definitely a wonderful one. If you haven't tried it yet, guys, I definitely recommend it. I know a lot of people see Jack Daniel's not being, it's not an expensive bottle by any means. And this one isn't that expensive either. At $100, I think it's well worth its price point, if not better than that.
Right. How about you, Jeanette?
Well, it really depends. If I'm just having a cigar, I like to have coffee or tea. But if I'm really wanting to try a brand new cigar out, I'm a little crazy. I do seltzer water with a splash of lime because I really want to cleanse the palate so that I can taste the cigar that I'm smoking.
That's a very good point. Cleansing the palate is something a lot of people may not recognize. The many different things that cleanse the palate. You mentioned one, obviously seltzer water, lime or lemon. That works. Dark chocolate works, believe it or not. You would think it would completely mess up, but no, it just seems to just cleanse the palate. What are some of the other things you guys think about for cleansing the palate? How about you, Joe?
I like to drink a lot of San Pellegrino, like, flavored seltzer water. So that way you are cleansing the palate, but you're adding a bit of a citrusy flavor to everything, and it kind of gives you that cool tingly sensation. And then if you have, like, a nice peppery cigar, it adds to that and just kind of creates a cool experience. So I like doing random flavors of that, just trying out new ones. I've been getting into seltzer water a little bit. Also, Perrier has a really good one. I like the peach and cherry, which is actually a really great one. So I like going with a lot of seltzer water, but when I want to drink, I will typically go for a whiskey, or if I'm trying to be a little bit more fancy and I got more time, I'll make myself a Manhattan with a rye base, and that normally makes just for a good pairing.
What I tell you, people, I mean, Joey looks like he's not been around the sun a few times, but I can tell you, I've known Joe now for a good 6 months, 8 months, maybe.
Half a year, yeah.
And this man knows so much about finer things in life. All right. And he has been around that sun just enough to get all that experience under his belt. And he shares it with us all. I mean, the guy loves Manhattans. I mean, when I was a kid, I looked at a Manhattan. I was like, what are you kidding me? I mean, I didn't drink a Manhattan, I think, until I was about 35 years old. And Joey just has been talking about it forever. What about you, Miguel? Cleansing the palate.
Oh man, I gotta agree with the seltzer for sure, especially lime. I love lime seltzers just any time of day, and that really does help kind of clean the palate in between puffs. Man, my drink a choice though, if I'm going fancy. I thought fancy was whiskey sour, poured in over ice, and that's about it. But that's a great call with the Manhattan. I love that idea. I was trying green tea for a little while, unsweetened green tea, but I don't know, it's a little too herbally to balance out, and I noticed that was kind of messing with my flavors. So when I can, unflavored seltzer or mineral water tends to do the trick. There's a Mexican brand that the name escapes me because my Spanish is terrible. Don't worry, I get made fun of that plenty. But it comes a blue bottle, and it's perfect, honestly, for cleansing your palate. It's great. I love mineral water to begin with, so it helps out anytime.
Now, when you talk about how tea or like a good green tea being herbally, not necessarily mixing with things, I find it goes really well with a Candela cigar.
Yeah.
I mean, it just kind of blends that whole flavor concoction together. It's like that one extra special ingredient that you needed to just bring that all out.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, that's the perfect time to be drinking them together. Once in a while, maybe I'll have it with a lighter like Connecticut or a shade, but those Candelas, even if it's like a barber pole with Candela, because I usually steer clear of Candelas. It's not my favorite. The wrappers tend to be really fragile and delicate. So myself, I'm a clumsy guy, so I might drop it and all of a sudden my wrapper's cracked. But yeah, anytime there is some Candela aspect, like what is it, the Roma Craft. Someone help me out here. They got their Black Irish. But just a little bit extra Candela in there. Man, yeah, that green tea would be perfect. That's a great call.
That's it. Absolutely. Thank you. We had some things. Oh, man, people. So Mo from Frontline Cigars asked me if I've washed this jersey yet. So for those of you that don't know, Yes, I am wearing a Buccaneers jersey. Yes, I am Boston Jimmy. I am wearing a Buccaneers jersey. It is number 12. It is Tom Brady. And I'm sticking with Brady until the day he retires. I don't care if he plays for Tampa Bay. I don't care if he plays for Miami Dolphins. Okay? I don't care. I'm hanging with Tom until he retires. Okay? Never leave the Red Sox, but that's my number one thing. Football, second or third. So I'm hanging in there with Brady. Go Brady.
Nice.
Go 2020 with Brady. So, you guys watching any football?
I'm a Buccaneers fan. Buccaneers fan from day one.
There we go. I'm on board with you now.
Oh, you should have seen how pissed my brother was when Brady went over. Oh man, he's a huge Patriots fan. Once he left and Gronkowski came out of retirement, forget about it. Oh my God, he was mad. Makes me happy.
That's kind of. I got a lot of people yelling at me for going over there, but I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm a quarterback guy. I follow quarterbacks, and before Brady, I was in a dead zone for a little bit, and then that was because I was a big Broncos fan with Elway. So when Elway left, I was in this dead zone. Then Brady came on the scene. Wow, look at this guy. Okay, I'm sticking with him. Yeah. So, Princess, you watching any football this weekend?
Actually, this weekend I've been pretty packed, but if I do, I'm a Bucks fan, man. I've always been a Bucks fan.
There we go.
Even when they were losing, I was still a Bucks fan.
Thank you.
Well, I
Yes.
might have to I'm going to join your side. So hopefully we're not going to lose anymore. You notice I'm saying we now because this is our team. This is we. So I hope the Bucks do not lose anymore with Tom Brady. We'll find out tomorrow at 4:25 p.m. as they take on Drew Brees in New Orleans. And I think it's going to be a very tight game. Tight game. Joey, what are you doing for football tomorrow?
Football? Well, I don't think I have too much planned. I'm normally pretty busy. But, yeah, I'll try and watch the game and see how Brady's doing. But I just personally don't watch a lot of sports just because I'm usually too busy. But I am from Boston, so I'm staying loyal to my home team, the Patriots.
There you go. All right. That's good. So
And
we
I think
had
that
we had some other comments come in. People were talking about different whiskeys. Buffalo Trace came in.
Nice.
Nix and Sticks says cognac is much better than a whiskey. And what's on cognac? I like a good cognac. But
that's actually what I was going to be drinking.
what you got there?
I have ABK6, the Family XO Cellar Single Estate Cognac, and it's actually signed by the owner.
Look at this.
Nice.
Look at that, Nix and Sticks. You got to get together with Joey, man. 'Cause I'm telling you, it was more about spirits than all my years around the sun. He pulls out stuff. It just blows my mind. He's got a whole liquor cabinet in his basement.
Yeah, just conveniently sitting there, too. My cabinet's over there. It's filled to the brim. I got to, find new places to put bottles.
So I saw some head shaking on the cognac. So, Jeanette, can't handle cognac?
Well, I was never a cognac fan. I cannot grasp the taste of it at all. If I was going to do anything, it would be a brandy, like
So
a
how
good
are you
cherry brandy.
So how are you distinguishing a brandy to a cognac? Because a cognac to me is just a higher end, better brandy because it's.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it was too bitter. It didn't have good flavor to it. None of that. I've never been a cognac girl.
So cognac is kind of just like a whiskey mixed with wine because it's made from nothing but white grapes. So it technically is like a whiskey wine mixture.
Made from the Chardonnay
cognac
grape,
is
right?
Hmm?
It's made from a Chardonnay grape.
Yeah.
The cognac, right?
I don't know. I don't know which kind of grape. I just know that it was white grape because me and the guy had dialogue a couple months ago on it. So I'm trying to remember as much as I can on that. But he did tell me that if I'm ever conveniently in France to hit him up, and he'll take me around the factory. So he
That's
gave
awesome.
me his international number and his American number.
Yeah, I was on business over in France a few years ago, and I had my fair share of cognac, and I do like cognac. I'm a big what you call it, not Hennessy, is the other one. Shit, I'm drinking. Got to remember it again. I used to fly when I would fly around, huh? Say it again.
Cavoursier?
Cavassier, yeah.
Cavoursier?
When I would fly around the United States years ago on business, and I was always getting upgraded to first class, I used to, at the end of the meal, if I was flying to like California or somewhere out west where there was a long flight, I would always get like a cup of coffee. It was called Mexican coffee is what this is, right? Or Spanish coffee. It would be coffee with brandy and Kahlua, right? But I always put Cavassier in it, and they gave you the little nips. So I get a nip of Cavassier and Kahlua in the coffee, and I put half and half of each. So I got a half a bottle left of the Cavassier, and then I would order another coffee, and I would order another Cavassier, and I put that in my bag, I put that in my bag, I put that in my bag, and I would leave the airplane like about 6, 7 little nips of Cavassier. So double XL, right? So it's all good. And so I kind of weaned myself on it. I do enjoy that.
Very nice.
Martin, 1738, is what Calvin Brown says. Remy Martin, 1738.
Remy Martin?
I've never had Remy Martin, but I do see a lot of people drinking it.
Cool. Got to try it out. I got to try that out myself as well.
And Jack Rock says Dr. Pepper cream. Excellent.
Very nice, very sweet.
Excellent pairings to cigars. I get a craft orange cream soda at my local cigar shop here. If I'm not into a libation moment, I get a bottle of this, and it is just so tasty. All right, with the cigar, it brings in this nice citrus and sweetness to it, and cream, and it just goes so well.
Nice. I'd like to throw a crazy one at you guys because we've been talking about whiskeys and cognac, but a lot of the guys I know out there like rum, and there's actually a tequila called Dami Mas Tequila that is finished, and I believe it's rum barrels if I remember correctly, and it is absolutely fantastic. It's very sweet, so if you like a sweet drink, this is going to be up your alley, and it goes so well with cigars. I mean, I love tequilas to begin with. Anything pure agave is just great to me, but this Dami Mas is the sweetest and the least peppery tequila I've ever had. And I don't mind that pepper bite, but when I had this, it was just so different. It reminded me more of a rum than a tequila. And I think a lot of people would appreciate that as well.
So I see Jeanette bounce her head up and down. I don't know if that's the pain that she's getting from her tattoo there, or she wanted to chime in with something.
Actually, no. So they have a tequila. It's I get it for one of my best friends, and it's a tequila that's actually aged in a rum barrel as well. And I just can't remember the name of it right now, but she absolutely adores it and swears by it.
Nice. You remember the what the bottle looks like?
Yeah, it's actually a dark brown bottle. Cortitos or something like that.
Cortitos. I'll have to look into that. I should know my tequila's better. I apologize.
Yeah, I'm not a tequila person. Well, actually, I don't drink anymore. That's the sad part. I don't drink anymore. So everything I do is non-alcoholic from this point on.
All right. Well, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk pet peeves. Walk into a cigar shop. Never been in a cigar shop, that particular shop in your life. What's the first thing you look for that you appreciate, and what is something that you don't appreciate in a cigar shop? We'll start with Joey.
One of the things that I appreciate most is like walking in and seeing that it's not just like a blank canvas of a place, and that whoever runs or owns that place actually tried to make it unique or put some kind of spin on it. Like the place that I go to a lot is Castro's Back Room. And it's literally just like going back in time because I actually heard a funny story about the owner. So there's not a single free spot on that wall. It's just random everything, and it's all old timey stuff. Everything's all dusty, right? And normally you'd be like, that looks dirty, but the way it's done is it looks like it actually just aged perfectly, and it's the way it's supposed to be. And I guess when they moved into their new location, this picture that they all thought was black and white, right? One of the new guys decided he was going to clean it. The owner came in, lost his shit on it, and said, no, that's not how it's supposed to be. And it turns out that that same picture was actually colored. And it was just that old and like weathered down, and, you know, like the yellowing of the paper. And I just really like when they like go above and beyond. When you walk into some of these more generic stores where they just kind of have a couple of chairs, you know, just random mismatched chairs, and maybe a table and some ashtrays and some extra lighters just in case. But I just like when someone puts some effort into their place to make it feel different than just, you know, smoking in a blank room. But one of my biggest...
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, pet peeve.
Yeah, the pet peeve would be when I walk into a cigar and there's no service. Like if I walk into the humidor and it's just you and me in the shop, and I have to go and find you in order to check out, you know, it means that I'm going to check out and leave. I'm not going to sit here and buy another 4 or 5 cigars, you know, and give you more of my money.
How about you, Jeanette?
Actually, I like to walk into a shop, and I like it when it feels like home. And I've been to a couple of shops where I walk in and I feel like I'm at home, and I can sit down in the chair and I completely can relax. I like that feeling of being at home. My pet peeve is very similar to Joey's. I don't want to walk in there. I kind of have 2 pet peeves. I don't want to walk in there and not get service, but then I also don't want to walk in there and have you follow me around like I'm going to steal something. And I don't, and me being a female in this industry, it's kind of hard because a lot of people assume that I'm a female and I don't know about cigars until I have to teach them about their own cigars.
I was going to ask you that, and thank you very much.
And that's my only pet peeve.
I would imagine most of the women smokers that I know and that follow me and I've talked to would say the same thing. They don't like going into a shop and having somebody say, hey, baby, can I cut and light that for you? Or sweetie, or this or that. It's like, stop, okay? You know, you wouldn't say that to, you might say to a man, can I cut and light that for you, right? But that extra little oomph to it, it's like as if you don't know what you're doing, right?
Well,
I don't mind somebody asking if they want to cut it for me. I said, yeah, I have my own cutter, but that, thank you very much. I appreciate that because a lot of people don't have a cutter on them and maybe don't have a cigar. So.
Or the other thing I get too is they want to direct me to the flavored cigars right away. And it's like, sweetheart, I can smoke a full body.
There you go. And Miguel, so same thing with you. And then right after you do that, comment on the fact that I understand that California is banning flavored cigars. So make that the second part of it, but start with the pet peeve and the likes.
One thing that I really love is kind of the opposite of the whole being ignored, but when you walk in and you see they're not busy and they just give you that hello and that welcome into the store. If they're busy, I totally understand. You know, you're working with a customer already. You'll get to me when you can. But if I see someone there and they're willing to give me that, you know, one-on-one, hey, how you doing? If I can help you, let me know. And I honestly don't mind if they walk with me to the humidor and they want to show me something new or they're excited about. I appreciate that. But, yeah, I definitely wouldn't want to be followed around either. A couple of times I've been followed around, but it was by other customers because they thought I worked there. I guess I wore the wrong shirt that day. I guess it looked like the employee shirt. But a pet peeve of mine says, yeah, definitely the customer service would be the biggest pet peeve. But right after that would be if I see cigarettes being smoked in a cigar lounge, I'm going to tend to probably not spend as much time there. I get everyone deserves to smoke what you want, but not in there, please. Come on. Give me a break.
I've been in shops where it plainly says no cigarette smoking.
And I like that. I prefer that, honestly. And right now, yes, California is looking for that 2021 ban on flavored cigars. The way it's working is it looks like they're going to upsell them for quite a bit it looks like our acid Cuba over here is quite expensive already because of our taxes. It's going to skyrocket to $35 a stick now for some reason.
Wow.
I truly
What
don't
is it
understand it.
price that now?
The price right now is, I want to say, like $12 maybe.
All right.
So it's not crazy. I know it's not like the rest of the country. I know we have our higher taxes. I don't mind paying that because I like to support my brick and mortar anyway. Not
Right.
going to complain because I want to keep them in business. But when you start doing that, you're just forcing people to spend money elsewhere, which lowers your tax revenue, lowers their bottom line as a small business, because there's not that many huge cigar lounges here. It's a lot of locally owned, mom and pop shops just trying to do their best, trying to keep the industry alive here in California. And that's a big thing. I mean, I don't smoke flavors all that often, but I want the option. I want to be able to enjoy one once in a while. And they're just taking away different things little by little, just piece by piece, and it's killing me.
Now, is part of the legalities in California? If you buy something online out of state, is that technically illegal to ship into California to you?
No, see, they can't sell, but you can still have, which is they're still trying to stop it right now. There is appeals coming into effect to try to put it on the actual ballot. I got to read up a little bit more to make sure I know what I'm talking about. But from what I understand, there are people trying to get it pushed onto the ballot, which would move the block back at least till 2022, which would be, a good win for us. But if it gets voted on, just like the taxes got voted on, and everyone voted yes, more taxes, they could easily vote in a cigar or a flavored tobacco ban, just because the way they word things. For instance, we had a stop animal cruelty on our ballots a few years back, and all it really was add more taxes to farmers, and they didn't want to put it that way. They just want to put stop animal cruelty. Of course, you're going to vote yes, stop animal cruelty. Why not? But yeah, we got to get people to understand what actually is happening versus yes, this is bad for kids or something, or whatever they want to push as their agenda, versus what it's actually going to accomplish.
Right. And when I walk, and I'll agree with you, when I walk in the shop, I enjoy having somebody come greet me, introduce me. If I've never been there, I'll introduce myself, walk me in the humidor, show me what they may have new, ask me. I love it when they ask me where my palate's at. Unfortunately, my palate's all over the map, but that's a nice question. What do you like to smoke? Let me try, have you ever tried this? That I really like and appreciate. It means that there's a tobacconist in the shop who kind of understands what they have in their inventory and what they're able to get you to try. Pet peeves of mine, I hate dirty ashtrays. Okay, just go around, clean those ashtrays constantly. You got workers in there, go around, clean the ashtrays, and I cannot stand dirty bathrooms. Okay, I walk in the bathroom, and in the middle of the day, maybe it's clean. When you walk in a crowded lounge at night, you walk in that bathroom, and there's freaking toilet paper on the floor. It's like, can somebody just go just attend to the bathroom once in a while? This is not a shithole. This is a cigar lounge where we appreciate things in life. Please make it the finer thing in life. All right, it reflects upon you. So,
1,000%.
Have you ever seen those lounges where they actually have ashtrays in the bathroom, as it promotes smoking, while you are already producing a smoked cigar?
No, I have no problem with an ashtray in the bathroom, because every now and then you got to sit down with the newspaper and you got to, have a place to put your ash. I'm sorry.
You're inhaling so much not so good stuff.
I don't mind that. So what was your, when did you first start smoking cigars? And do you remember what your first introduction to cigars was? Miguel, let's start with you.
Oh, absolutely. I've been really smoking for about 5 years. I got really into it. I just saw this because Saka posted about, Dunbar and Tobacco and Trust coming on 5 years. And I was like, man, I picked a perfect time to come in and start really getting into the industry. Wonderful time. But the first cigar I had was definitely a while back past that. I was in Vegas, and Caesar's Palace, the MGM had a glass Davidoff like room, not a lounge, but just a cigar humidor with a register in front, and the most beautiful Russian girl I've ever seen in my life, selling cigars. She knew what she was talking about, and I would have bought anything she told me to, obviously. And I'm pretty sure she upsold me by like about $20-$30 on this one cigar. And if I saw her again today, knowing everything I know, I would still pay that much from her. And it was one of my favorite cigars of all time. Cannot tell you what it was for the life of me, but I remember the experience. And I remember enjoying it. I remember like, I got to get back to this. And I don't know why it took me so long to get back to it, but I'm so happy that I am.
How about you, Joey?
I started smoking a little over 4 years ago. And so my first cigar, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's spelled Raice. And so that was my, what?
Racist Cubano?
Yeah, it might be, yeah. And that was my first cigar. And then that same night, I ended up having like 3 or 4 more. And I think those were a mix of like La Gloria Cubanas and I think some gas station cigars on top of that White Owl, I think.
Nice.
So I started with the good stuff and then worked my way back without knowing the difference. And I think it was like the white grape flavor. And it was like the ones with the pre-punch toll in it. And they were actually good at the time. I remember me and the buddy who actually introduced me to it, we went back and we're like, those were really good that night. Let's find them. And we found them after searching everywhere, and we started smoking them. We're like, this is awful. What were we thinking? Why did we smoke so many of these? You know? So it's kind of interesting to like watch how my palate has changed, because there were cigars that I absolutely loved and always had a fond memory of. And then when I went back to go revisit them, I was like, this is like smoking sawdust. You know, what did I like about this? You know?
How about you, Jeanette?
Well, I guess I'm the one who's been smoking for a little while. I've been smoking for about 20 years. And it was always like a house blend at a cigar shop when I was first. But the cigar that really, really got me into smoking cigars like hardcore, and I say this and people are like, yeah, it was the Kululas, an actual flavored cigar. It was the Kululas that got me into trying it out. It wasn't too sweet. I really liked it. And then from there, I transitioned over to, non-flavored cigars and started off with Connecticut's. And I worked my way up to full bodies. And I still, to this day, start off with a Connecticut and work my way up to a full body on a daily.
There you go.
Very nice.
And I would say the old gray beard in the room. I've been smoking cigars for going on 43 years now. And the first cigars I smoked, obviously, back in those days were Garcia Vegas, believe it or not. Right? That's what we did. I was in a fraternity at 18 years old. We smoked Garcia Vegas, and that was the coolest thing in the world, right? You were smoking this. And they were the old mini stinkers and stuff like that, we called them. And I would say, like Jeanette, it wasn't the flavor cigar, but the cigar that turned me onto premium cigars was a Punch Double Punch. Big, long, freaking double Corona. I mean, this thing was just 2.5 hours smoke, flavors. I was like, whoa, I've been living under a rock. And from that point forward, it was like, I'm finding everything I can find. And I would walk into a shop and be like, I didn't have that, I'll try that. I didn't have that, I'll try that. No, and keep trying different things. And over the years, obviously, I've smoked thousands and thousands of different cigars, blends, and shit that go on. But yeah, and it just rolling. So when you think of the cigars that you smoke, and you're thinking about all the different brands, you might have a brand loyalty, you may not have a brand loyalty, but what would you say are your most favorite brands of cigars? We'll start with Joe.
My favorite brand, I don't necessarily have like a favorite go-to brand, but if I had to like pick a brand that I was connected with, I would probably say Christoph, just because
Nice.
that was my first cigar event, that I went to when I was
Me
19.
too.
And I went to the event and I met the sales rep, Johnny Fazzi. And me and him spent a whole lot of time talking together. And I was just picking his brain about the cigar industry because I was having such a good time. And I was like, you mean I can get paid for this? To hang out with people, to smoke cigars and drink for free? You know, this is like the life, you know? And so I kept picking his brain on how to do that. And we still talk to today. And he was like my first introduction into like learning what the cigars are really about. And that was the day that I made my first box purchase, which kind of brought me down my rabbit hole. Because for me to get my tolerance where I wanted it, I kind of was very meticulous about it. So my first cigar from them that I really liked was the Christoph Connecticut. And so I bought a box of that after smoking like two of them. And then from there, what's cool about their brand is it's clearly labeled on all the boxes the potency level. So what I did is I just bought the boxes of certain potency, and once I was able to chain smoke that box, I could move to the next one until I was chain smoking the 5 out of 5, and then now I can smoke a whole wide range without feeling sick.
So Luigi Licenti said this is the golden age of cigars we're in. 35 years ago, not many choices and not very good. Jeanette, your favorite brand or brands
Well,
that you like to indulge in?
okay, so when I first started, my favorite brand was actually, when I first really started smoking, my first favorite brand was Drew Estates. Currently, it's changed over the years, but currently right now, I gotta say I am an Espinosa girl. He actually produces two of my absolute favorite cigars. I do like my crema in the morning, and I do like the Espinosa Especial. I do have what I call my comfort cigars, and I have quite a few different comfort cigars. So I do actually, my other brand that I like on top of Espinosa right now is the Karen Berger, the K by Karen's too, man. Her K by Karen Maduro is like my dessert cigar, and I love it. But I can't sit there and say I have one particular because I have so many that I go to. You know, it's kind of hard just to say one. I mean, I even like my protocols too. So
I don't.
kind of hard.
Miguel.
Well, it's going to be a little biased here, but I'm going to pick my own first, Pariah Cigars. We hit the market the end of this month. Pre-orders have already started. We've got two blends right now. It's a Criollo 98 and an Ecuadorian Connecticut. I absolutely love them. For 2 years, we've been tasting different blends, coming with James from Sinistro. And, yeah, I'm just going to go the easy route and say that. But it's hard to choose because, yeah, there are so many great cigars out there. Everything you guys named, first of all, yeah, my first event was also at a Christoph. It was a multi-vendor event, but the owner, Glenn, was there, and I didn't even know who he was at the time, but he was the nicest guy talking to us about the blends. Obviously, like I said, James from Sinistro. I love Sinistro. The Last Cowboy and Honor Among Thieves are some of my favorite cigars. You got Roma Craft, you got Dunbarton, like we're talking about with Saka earlier. But then there's too many good cigars to nail down one blend or one brand, excuse me, to say, oh, yeah, they're number one for me all the time. And I love that term, comfort cigars. I'm gonna steal that. I'm gonna start using that too. It's a great way to describe it. I love that.
Yeah, I would say, and I'm on your page, Miguel. It's always a tough question to ask somebody because you kind of put everybody on a spot. So I put everybody on a spot, so put me on a spot. So, you know, in all transparency, I will say that going back to what Jeanette said, my first really go-to cigar that I was buying boxes and boxes and boxes of back in the late 80s, early 90s were Hoyle de Monterey Excaliburs. I
Nice.
couldn't get enough of those cigars. I absolutely love them. But going to, like Joey says, as time went on, things kind of changed. I did a lot of Fuente. I did the Fuente Double Chateaus was another one. And I remember coming back from living in Germany back and forth on business trips. I used to hang out at a Casa del Habano's house. and all I was smoking was Cubans. All right. And I came back and I went into my shop and I got one of those double chateaus. And I said, "What's wrong with this cigar?" And my friend Steve, who owned the shop, he goes, "Nothing wrong with the cigar, Jim. You just been smoking Cubans for the last year. Okay, your palate's completely changed." And then as things evolved, I would say that I'm going to take a little bit of an easy route. Okay, you can call me out on it, but I would just say anything AJ Fernandez that covers a lot of brands. I mean, there's just a boatload of brands out there that are using AJ's factory and AJ's skills to create phenomenal cigars all the time. They're not, and AJ's direct blends are not overly priced. That's the one nice thing about it. He's completely vertically integrated. I like vertically integrated operations that don't have to sell you cigars for $15. I like it where they've got something where they're able to provide with a cigar that is in the $9 range, $10 range. Then if I go into like the boutiques, I'm a big Crux guy. I love Crux cigars. That's a brand that I've known since their inception. I love what they've been doing over the years. Southern Draw, and I can go on and on with, the DBL cigars are very unique in their flavor profiles. What Francisco does with that, and having studied under the best of the best, he's able to produce some amazing craft. Hiram Solomon has come out and really done amazing things, especially since they moved in with and working with Plasencia, and that's another brand that you just go on and on and on. So, right, Miguel, there's so many great cigars out there, that you just can't put your finger on one. It's sometimes that you go in your locker, you go in your humidor, and you look at what your stash is, and you're like, it takes me like 20, 30 minutes to pick out a cigar. It's like, what do I want today? And I had that one. And then if it's one, then if it's something that I bought or got to review, I'm not going to smoke that because I got to think about it.
Yeah.
I'm obligated to start taking notes and photos and all this other stuff. And sometimes I just want to sit back and just enjoy the cigar, enjoy that moment, So, and oh, by the way, this McAuliffe is absolutely burning beautifully. Got a nice flavor profile. So this is a brand that hit the market hard and heavy a few years ago and hasn't stopped moving forward. So as consumers, you've gone to events. What would you say from an event, big or small, was like one of your best events you've been to? So I'll start with you. Cigar event. Yeah. Miguel.
Oh, you want me to go? Okay, I'll go first. Yeah. Actually, working with Cigars and More here in Bakersfield has allowed me to go to a lot of events, and most of them that I've gone to, I've been working. Like it's either for them, or I go hang out with James and I help him work for the Sinistro events. This is I'll give you the most unique experience. I went to a release for the Punch Diablo at this lounge in San Diego. And it was just for that one cigar. It's a new one they get in because it's a gentleman's club. It's a full-on gentleman's club with an entire cigar lounge built onto it. And they have the only walk-in humidor I've ever seen at one of these places. The owner's a good friend. He's a great guy. He brings in chefs from the restaurants close by him to prepare a full meal. It was definitely different. I love the fact that it was a complete meal. You have your drink special for the night that he provided. It was an entire inclusive event where it wasn't big. There was probably like 20 guys with us all together, maybe even less than that. But everybody was treated to a full amazing experience from top to bottom. And I already knew about the Punch Diablo. I liked it to begin with. It's a nice hefty cigar. Nothing crazy, but it was definitely good. And that was definitely a unique experience as far as cigar events go. But one thing I really like to see at all these events is the live entertainment's great, but a couple of times the bands are overpowering our conversations. because they're like right next to you and they're great. A lot of them have great bands, great musicians, but I still want to be able to talk to my friends right then and there. So if I get that experience mixed in with, just the noise just a little bit further down so we can still have that moment to converse, that makes it a great event in my opinion. Live performance or live, musicians mixed with still being able to hear everybody.
How about you, Joe?
For me, it would definitely have to be that Christoph event. Just because I only have like a limited amount of events that I've gone to, just because there's not a lot of shops in Massachusetts, so there's not a whole lot of events. So if I do, I need to travel to Rhode Island or I need to travel somewhere in New Hampshire in order to find an event. So for me, the reason I like that event so much versus some of the other ones I went to is the sales rep actually took the time to get to know everyone in the room.
Nice.
And actually took the time to talk to people to help educate them on the product, and then it wasn't just business. He didn't push anything on anyone. It's more of, hey, you paid your fee to get in. Here's your free cigars. Which one do you want? What's your palate? Ask you all the regular questions. And if you didn't know what that meant, you asked him, because I had no idea. I was only 19. I'd only been smoking a year at that point. And he educated me on what the palate was, what strengths and profiles meant, and just kind of educated me through the process, despite me not knowing anything. And also, just at that time, if you think I look young now, imagine, when I was 19, I'm 22 years old now. I didn't even have scruff on my face. So I looked even younger. So for the most part, my entry into the cigar industry has been me just not looked at, just because I look young and people just don't want to pay any attention to that. So it was nice to actually have someone take an interest in you and actually talk to you to help educate you, so you're no longer just a newbie who walks into the shop.
Right. Jeanette, you're in the car. Your tattoo's done.
Yes, it
Can we
is.
see it?
Absolutely. Well, I don't know how much you could see it. I think I showed
It's
it.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness, what a beautiful.
Yeah, I kind of showed it earlier. It's kind of it's very scary and very girly at the same time.
So what is your favorite or most memorable event you've been to?
My favorite events is when I do the Great Smoke with Abe. I've been going to the Great Smoke for over 10 years. And it actually has a purpose to me, because when my husband was alive, that was an event that he and I did every single year. And when he passed away 4 years ago, I think I only took a 1-year break from it. And now I go because it reminds me of all the fun that I used to have with him at the events. And I get to see a lot of people that I only get to see once a year. I get to see all the vendors, because there's 42 different vendors there. And I know a lot of the vendors. So I get to go by and I get to say hi, and I get hugs. And it's for me, it's more of a memory. And for me, that's what keeps that particular venue is always going to be an important venue for me.
Right. So I would say, so I've been to a lot of big events, small events, and I can't disagree with the Great Smoke. It's probably one of the best, if not the best, here in the state of Florida. The Tampa Cigar Bash, second best on top of that. I do think Abe does a slightly better job, but they're neck and neck when it comes to that. But my most memorable event was a few years back. Hiram and Solomon invited me to a Scotch cruise down in Stewart, Florida. And we went out on the bay. We had a sailboat, a small skiff. There was about maybe a dozen, not even 20 people on it. And obviously there was Hiram and Solomon cigars, was the cigar part, but the whiskey part was a Scotch club, and actually goes every other year. They get together and they take a trip to Scotland and hit a different region in Scotland each time to try out different scotches in that particular region.
Nice.
what they took out part of the cruise was all these different tastings of different
Greece has the utmost,
ranging from like the low end, the lowest end scotch you were having was probably a $80 a bottle, all the way up to $750 a bottle scotch. This is a 2-hour cruise, just on a sailboat as the sun's setting, with a acoustic guitarist and a violinist singing, right? And I would say that you had a dram, but every bottle was almost polished off. All right, so he said, even though you tried it, it's like have another one. And there was certain cheeses and certain dried sausages and other little tidbits that would pair with it, chocolate, things like that, that we were going back and forth. And the experience of the pairing with the cigars and the tasting of the whiskey and the education that came out in that 2 hours was incredible. Of course, again, I couldn't practically walk off the boat, and it was at that point you got to find a local cigar shop to go to and just chill out, because I'm not driving back to Melbourne right now. I just need to sit back, drink some Dr. Pepper, smoke a cigar, and just relax. But that was my most memorable event of all the events I've been to. And I would like to see more of those small, intimate events sometimes where you get involved and you just really you bond together with people you don't even know. And at the end of the event, your brothers and sisters that leave, you're enjoying whatever libations, and you're all having conversation and such.
Nice.
So I know I've had the pleasure of going to numerous parts of Nicaragua, Dominican, Costa Rica. Has anybody had an opportunity to actually either go to a factory, a field, even a barn smoker or a Drew Estate event down there? Anybody's done that other than me?
Unfortunately, not.
Not yet, no.
So you all need to get involved in doing something like that if you get a chance, because that just opens up your whole mind about cigars. You walk in to a factory and you actually begin to see, and you walk the fields and you learn about those 300 hands that we talk about, and how everything from planting the seed all the way to the rolling, banding, the box making, those experiences, if you get an opportunity, you got to jump on that. And I can tell you, besides the Drew Estate event, which eventually I think they're going to redo, they're going to start up again. If you can get to a barn smoker, okay, anywhere in this country, you get a similar experience. That experience of walking into a drying barn and just smelling the leaves as they're curing. I use a note sometimes where I just go, that's just a curing barn aroma. And people don't know what that is. And when you do know what that is, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And you're like, oh, that's what I want to smell. And you'll enjoy that. And I will also say that even AJ, if you've got a shop that has an AJ line, AJ will work with shops. As a shop, you could put together a tour of the shop patrons to go down to Nicaragua, and you'll live on AJ's campus. Okay, he's got housing down there. You'll actually live there for a few days. You'll get the tours and everything, and there's a price for it, but it's not crazy expensive. You can cut that in. You talk to the AJ rep at your shop, and they could hook that whole thing up with a group of people to just go down to Nicaragua sometime when all this other crap that we're dealing with is gone. I highly recommend doing something like that. Coming up on the hour, but what I normally do here, I go into a what's new in news and cigar reviews on Stogie Press. So we're going to take a little break into that. Let me just share my screen here. And so if I go, start with this. All right. So I'm doing something new. I'm going to start putting out a week-ending list of cigar reviews on Stogie Press. So there'll be a single email going out to all the subscribers that'll list in case they haven't been on the site. You'll get an email of a summary. So the reviews we did this week, I picked up this Viaje Amuse Boucher Robusto. Picked this up from R&R Cigars in Tuscaloosa, Alabama a few weeks ago. I put in an order to them. And this cigar it's what you would expect from Viaje. It's spectacular. It's just a really fine cigar. You can see the, why didn't that go there? Oh, linked in it. Oh, because I'm not viewing the way I want to. All right, so the other one that we looked at was the Tatuaje Nuvitas Jabaro. This is a revisit of their original Nuvitas from about 10 years ago. This cigar actually, although it has decent flavor, it had a tremendous amount of burn issues I was dealing with. That's kind of the reason why it came down to an 86. So it's not that overly expensive, but it's still, I was having issues with it. I got around to reviewing the Black Label Trading Company's Bishop Blend 5-year anniversary. This is another very fine cigar. You'll find that this has some really nice sweetness to it. There was actually a point where I almost felt like it was just burning sugar, but it's not. But it was just had this nice sweet flavor coming in. It was very pleasurable on the palate.
Nice.
The Drew Estate Herrera Esteli Edición Limitada. This is the Lancero that came out this year. Okay, and this one I rated a 95. It's another one of these Lanceros. I'm sorry, I'm a big Lancero fan. I just tend to get flavors out of Lanceros. My palate just loves that wrapper leaf when it just is as good as what's being used on these cigars. And
heck yeah.
Last week we talked about this on the show, but this is the Cigar Clowns. Again, if you're not a member of Cigar Clowns on Facebook, let me know. I'll invite you to this group. This group is spectacular. You have an opportunity to pick up a 5-pack of each drop of cigars they get, which are unique. They are rare. They're never been in the market, and they're on a journey to find the best cigar in the world. So every time they come out with a new drop, they offer them to the membership on that group. So if you want to get involved, let me know. I can invite you to it. Those are the reviews that we did on Stogie Press. As far as the news go, not a huge news week for what I saw coming out. There were 2 big things that popped out. Foundation Cigars, Nick Melillo, he has released he extended his Charter Oak line with Habano and Habano blend. Is coming in a variety of vitolas, but most special he talked about is a torpedo. Never had a torpedo in this particular line, and this torpedo at $7. I just got to get my hands on this one. They come in 50-count cabinet boxes. I love what Nick says about it. He says there's nothing like a 50-count cabinet. Okay, or a 6x52 torpedo, so why not put them together? I mean, just something about having a 50-count box of cigars. I mean,
I want that.
Things you want to have sitting on your mahogany desk, right? Somebody goes in and you say, hey, you want a cigar? You look inside this box, it's just massive amount of cigars. So that's pretty special. So I'm looking forward to picking up some of those when they come out. And then Alec Bradley came out with something interesting. Alec Bradley actually is introduced what's called limited edition Mega Burner. So these Mega Burners, you've seen these types of lighters in cigar shops. So these are just these big Mega Burners. They last forever when you fill them up. They're going to give you about 8 hours and 45 minutes, okay, of flame. And they come in these really cool designs. So if you're really interested in a cool lighter, Alan Rubin is out there slinging some of these, and I do believe where is the cost? So the cost is $150 a lighter, and they're going to be hitting all the shops starting in October. So that's the news and reviews on Stogie Press. Another thing we've done on Stogie Press, we just updated the site today to make this a little easier to subscribe. And for those that haven't subscribed to Stogie Press, there's a subscribe button here, and you'll get a very easy way to subscribe now. Before you used to have to subscribe, acknowledge it was bad. It was a little troublesome to people, I heard. So we have a very easy subscribe button now. You put in the email, you subscribe, and we're going to start running special exclusive only subscriber contests and giveaways on Stogie Press. So if you are a subscriber, thank you very much. If you're not, free to do this, and we'll be running special contests in addition to these take it to the nub raffles to give away some stuff. My wife keeps telling me I got to thin my humidor out. So her demand is your pleasure. So we'll be working on that. So that's the news, reviews, and updates on Stogie Press. Get a chance, check it out. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do. Any help there? We keep trying to raise that viewership up to 1,000 viewers. That's the magic number on YouTube. So if you got out there, you haven't subscribed, please do. Help out a brother. Anything you can do, it's great. If you enjoy the shows and stuff, all of these shows are post-processed and put out on YouTube. So you'll be able to go to the YouTube channel and see them all. So that's where we're at. So it was an awesome show. I want to thank everybody. We'll go around the panel. Any closing comments? We'll start with Jeanette.
First of all, I want to say thank you for asking me to be on with you. I greatly appreciate it. I'm glad I got to have this conversation with you guys, and thank you for letting me just be here and be a part of it. Thank you.
Okay. How about you, Joey?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for having me on, because we've been talking about doing this for a long time, and it was nice to be able to sit here and have dialogue with you and learn from Princess Jay and Miguel as well.
And Miguel?
Yeah, same here, guys. It was really great meeting everybody. Got to have you all onto the Bakersfield Gentlemen one of these times. I'll be on again if you guys want to see my face more. I don't know why, but I'll be on again a couple hours for our Saturday show. Yeah, glad to be here. Can't wait to come back.
All right. And thank you very much, everybody who's watching. Got a lot of good comments. Everybody's saying they loved it. Jeff Walsh said he had a Charter Oak. They were good. Jeff, this is a new one, so if you get a chance, you got to check it out when it hits the shelves. Who else is talking here? Jeff wants to know what kind of tattoos you were doing there, Jeanette.
What was the question on my tattoo?
What kind of tats are you doing?
So this one, I actually had no clue what it was going to be. I wanted Halloween theme, and this is actually, it's a pumpkin lollipop with the bite out of it, and it's got spider webs and blood and candy corn, but the lollipop comes from a horror movie. So I went to my artist and I said, hey, fill in this spot, use Halloween theme, and go to town. Your thing. So I didn't even know what it was going to be.
Nice. All right. We're going to look forward to seeing posts of that on Facebook soon once it's all healed. And you took it like a champ. I didn't hear any screaming and hollering. If that was me, I'd be crying. So I give you great kudos for letting somebody needle the crap out of you. All right, everybody. I appreciate you all joining, and check it out. We're trying to line up some shows for the next couple of weeks. I got some feelers out there for some people. We don't have the lockdown jet on it, but you'll know within the week who's going to be on next week, and going to keep it rolling along. So Everybody have fun. Thank you, Miguel. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Jeanette, for joining. For those that were supposed to be on, couldn't make it, I understand. It's no big deal. We'll do this again. So thank you.
Y'all have a good one.
No problem.
Hey, I'll try to catch your show, Miguel.
Yeah, you too.
Appreciate it.